Guides are saying you just need to expand your search. You need to look at the few cities that are close to you. So I call around. I start heading over to the nearest city. They've got 2 on the lot. By the time I get there, they've got a 3rd one. And the whole time I'm looking at the cars, my guides are saying, buy the car, buy the car, buy the car. Usually they're not quite this insistent. So I was a little bit shocked. I'm like, okay. And it's like, I don't want to spend this kind of money. I kind of want a used car. And they're like, don't worry about the money, buy the car. I'm like, okay, am I going to go all in on this guidance thing and really just follow it, as far as I can go? And I thought, yes, I'm going to do it. So I said, okay, which car do I get? The bottom of the line or the top of the line? They said, which one do you want? I'm like, all right, if we're playing this game, I want the top of the line. So I buy the car, I finance the whole thing. I'm driving home, I'm feeling pretty good. And then the next morning when I'm meditating, I said to my guides, I need you to give a little more information. Like when you said, don't worry about the money, it sounded great, but now I'm a little worried about the money because I've got car payments. I didn't want that. And my guides said something that blew me away. They said, in 2 weeks, you're gonna get laid off from your job. But because you're working half-time, you're going to get a half-time severance package. We want you to email your boss right now and tell her that you bought a car, you want to pay it off, and you want to go back up to full-time. I thought, okay, that's kind of interesting. And they said, she can't move you to full-time unless you have a reason, but now you have a legitimate reason. So I was like, okay. So I sent an email to my boss. Right away, she emailed back, said, okay, I'm making the change. And I tried to backpedal a little bit. I'm like, oh, I'm not sure because I don't really want to work full time. And she said back, she just said, Jeff, let me make this change. Let me make this change. And I was like, okay, I'll just let her make the change. I actually went on vacation at that point for 2 weeks. And I called at the end of my vacation and I said, oh, I'm about to come back and start working, but because I'm out of vacation time, but I'd kind of like to spend a few more days out here. What do you think? Because I figured they're going to lay me off. My boss said, yeah, it's okay. Just take a few days off. Next day she calls me. She's sad to say that I'm getting laid off. And I was just so happy. I was like, thank you so much. And she said, nobody's ever said that when I laid him off before. And the remarkable thing was not that I got laid off, but when I got the severance package, it was twice as big as it would have been before when I was working half-time. That extra half paid for the car in full.
Wow.
My guides bought me a car.
That is insane. But I'm so glad you shared that story because it shows what is possible when you start living in duality.
I went from being an engineer, I was a software engineer for 15 years. And while I was doing that, I always had this side hobby of energy work and working on intuition and playing with energy. And it got to the point, at some point, where it felt like I had this division in me. Even though I was, by day, a software engineer and making my money that way and very successful, my heart was somewhere else. I wanted to change my life and become an energy healer full-time, not just kind of as a little side gig. And a lot of us get to this place where we've got this division inside where our actions and what we're doing day to day don't really line up with our passion. Even if we're successful in what we're doing, it doesn't quite feel right. I felt like I'm kind of wasting my potential. I'm kind of bored in this happy, successful life, and I didn't know how to get out of it. So what I did was I sat down energetically and I started clearing out everybody else's information and ideas about what I should do and what it would look like. And then I looked at what my fears were and started moving those out as well. And just working on this energy part, I got this really clear feeling that, oh, this can happen. This transition is going to happen in about 2 years. And at the time, even though it was not as soon as I wanted, I felt this huge relief inside, just knowing that the universe is going to bring what I want, and I don't even have to know how it's going to do it. So fast forward to 2005, it was New Year's, and I realized, oh, this is the year when I'm supposed to be transitioning, into this new career. But I haven't really done anything in the physical world yet. I wonder what's going to happen. In February, my boss came in and she said, we want to give you a promotion, but we can't give you any more money. So think about what you want and let us know. So I sat down the next day, again, tuned into the energy, which is what I always do. And I got really clearly, oh, take a week off and go visit your friend in Germany. I'm like, okay, that sounds fun. And I got asked for the entire month of May off paid. And I thought, oh, she's never going to go for that. But I trust my guidance. I always listen and I follow it. It's actually a little harder to follow your guidance than it is to hear it. A lot of people get guidance and then don't follow through. But you'll find that if you do follow through, amazing things happen. So the next morning, I talked to my boss, told her these two things I wanted, and to my surprise, she said yes. I could take this vacation, I could have the entire month of May off. I was totally blown away. I never would have asked for that if I hadn't followed my guidance. So before I know it, I'm in Germany visiting my friend, enjoying myself, and I happen to bump into another friend, someone I'd taken clairvoyant training with and teachers training with. And she said she was living in Uganda, Africa, and she had a school where she was teaching intuition and energy healing. And she taught her students everything she knew, and she was kind of looking for some next steps. So she was asking me for next steps. We started talking, and then she mentioned, oh, by the way, I've got to go somewhere else for the month of May, and I need a substitute teacher to come in and run my school for that month. I just started smiling, and I said, well, as it turns out, I happen to have the entire month of May off. Up until that point, I had no idea why I needed the month of May off or what I was going to do with it. So before we know it, it's May. I'm in Uganda. I'm teaching energy work and graduate clairvoyant work to people. And it was fantastic. And I was a little bit afraid when I went in that they were going to find out that I was really a software engineer, right? I felt like I was a software engineer kind of pretending to be this energy teacher, even though I had the credentials in the background. But by the end of the month, I'd seen such amazing results with all these students. I'd seen them make changes in their relationships. One woman got a new job offer while I was there. It was just all these amazing changes. And I realized, wow, this can be my life. If I can let this happen, this can be the life that I want. So I looked at my fears, kind of cleared them out. And I had this interesting insight. I realized, oh, maybe I'm actually an energy healer pretending to be an engineer. And that really shifted things for me. That gave me the insight to lean in and say, yes, I want this, I can do this. Again, I didn't know what steps to take next, but I knew that just clearing the energy would pave the way. So I went back to the States, and in August, I'm meditating in the morning like I always do, and I got this really clear insight, said, put your house on the market. And I thought, what? I don't want to put my house on the market. Where am I going to live? I just finished this renovation on my house, and I don't want to do that. But it's my guidance. I always listen, so I just kind of put it on the market. I listed it a little high, hoping it wouldn't sell. And a week later, I was headed down to Sedona to visit a friend. My first time there, and just driving down the canyon towards Sedona, it was really clear, oh, I'm moving here. I'm moving to Sedona. I don't know anything about it. I've never been here, and I don't even know why I'm going. But the feeling was so clear. That's how guidance is for me. And the next morning I'm meditating, did a little yoga, I'm meditating, and I just tuned in and asked, Sedona, why are you calling me here? Why am I going to move here? This beautiful voice said, come here and be healed. And I thought, oh, wow, I'm sold. That's the best invitation I've ever had. Come here and be healed. So again, I looked at my fears, I cleared the energy out, and I did a little energy work on the house, right? So I cleared out, I just moved the energy where I was still hanging on and said, it's okay if it goes. And something amazing happened. Within 1 hour, I had a full price offer on my house. And by noon that day, we were under contract. And I couldn't believe it. I went home and I just had to go in and talk to my boss and say, hey, I'd like to cut back to half time, and I'd like to work from home, and home's going to be in Sedona. And again, I was afraid, I was going to get in trouble here. And she said, it's okay. We love you. We want you to follow your dreams. We're happy to have you half time if that's how much we can have you. And before I know it, a month later, I'm down in Sedona and I'm starting this new life for myself. And the interesting thing to me is that I didn't plan any of this. I didn't sit down and make a little plan which steps I needed to take. All I did was work on the energy until I had clarity. I said yes to the guidance that came in and followed it. And then I moved out my fears, and then I sent a little energy down those paths. And I'll show you how to do that in this masterclass today. So you can get try this for yourself and see how it works for you. Now, there's one more part of the story. When I got to Sedona, I thought, okay, now I'm here, but I don't know how to run a business. How am I going to get clients? And I'm tuning in and meditating. And my guide said, well, let's start with the financials. How much money do you want to make? I said, oh, okay. I'd like to make $100,000 a year. And I'd like to give 10% of that away. And it was really funny. My guide said, oh, that's actually 2 goals. And you can accomplish one of those goals right now by giving $10,000 away. This is the kind of guidance I get. But the thing about listening to your guides is that they don't tell you what you want to hear. They tell you the truth, right? And it's scary to follow, but if you get in the habit of following, pretty soon you realize, okay, if I follow this guidance, my life is going to get better than I can imagine because I'm not using my brain to organize it. I'm getting something even better than I could do by myself. And that's what happened in this case. So I started negotiating and I said, okay, I don't really want to give away $10,000, but how about if I gave away 100 healings worth $100 each? How would that be like $10,000 worth? And they said, that's a good idea. And we recommend that you give away those healings to other healers. I'm like, okay, I can do that. They said, oh, and one more thing. We want you to make a website. And every time you give away a healing, just put a little picture and a little bio about that person on the website. Just kind of a free way to help them out and give them a little free advertising. I didn't think anything of it. I thought, sure, I can do that. So this 100 Healings project started up, and I was giving healings to healers in Sedona, and I was putting their bios online, and something really amazing happened. Google loved my website. So if you went into Google and you typed in Sedona massage, which I don't do massage, my website came up. Sedona acupuncture, my website came up. Sedona energy healing, my website came up. Basically any modality you could put in, my website would come up. And that website mostly focused on all these healers I was working on, but on the sidebar just had a little picture of me and told about my project. And people started coming to this site and saying, well, who's this guy that's giving all these healers healings? I want to go to this healer's healer. And that's what built my business. That got me to that $100,000 a year business. So they were totally right. If I just gave it away in a specific way, my other goal was achieved too.
If you